Hello, and thank you so much for being here today. It's my pleasure to welcome you to Move LA's 9th conversation. The first one started right here in this room, and look where we've come in 10 years with regard to transportation and all kinds of other wonderful things that are happening in Los Angeles County. This conversation is our first since our victory with Measure M last November. Can you believe that it's already a year? Give a hand to all of you who worked so hard on this. The strength of Move LA is the belief that the fortune favors the bold. When you honestly believe in the goodness, the generosity, the imagination of the voters of California, and can put before them what appeals to their greater self, amazing things can happen. And that's just what LA has shown and what Move LA has done over lots of years, over these 10 years. And we've proved it over and over again. Today is a celebration of victories and to address the promises that were made during Measure M's campaign and after its victory, and those promises that must be kept. But it is also anticipatory. The theme of the day is what's next, LA? What are the next big issues that we, all of us, can address together? So before we begin, I want to say a thank you to Move LA's staff and for all their hard work in putting this day together, and for all the amazing work that they do all the time. So Move LA is small, but pretty mighty. So thank you to Marissa Garcia, who most of you have been speaking with. She is just pretty remarkable. Gloria Oland, Eli Lippman, whose voice you'll be hearing and who you'll be meeting a little bit later, and to Neil Richmond, also who you'll be meeting later. And of course, to our visionary leader, Denny Zane. And we will have a number of board members from the Move LA Leadership Board who will be here a little bit later, but for those of you who are here, welcome. Thank you for your hard work. Now, it's also my pleasure to introduce and thank Danny Tabor, who's the Vice President of the Move LA Board, for all of the hard work that he does. Danny is a former mayor of Inglewood who has long been a teacher. He is a great source of wisdom and generosity of spirit in so many ways and on so many issues related to community development and specifically transportation needs. So we are all grateful to be able to work and to learn from Danny, and I welcome you to come up here.
Thank you, Marlene, and I will have to get a copy of this video so that ever I'm introduced, I can use those kind words. Thank you very much. I have a challenge this morning to build the energy in the room. So I'm going to begin by asking each of you to hold your hands out to your sides and wave them around a little bit. Get your fingers moving, get those out. I know you all had Pilates class earlier and you were walking, and I see some people with their step counters. So today we want you to be actively involved, and it's going to take you raising your hand and waving your hand. So I want to get you started like that. All right, give yourselves a round of applause this morning. All right, so I've got another role, though. My role is to point out to you that we are here because of our sponsors. And I'm going to quickly read through those names, but I want to draw your attention first to our program book, which is full of the details for today, listing not only the order of the program, but a lot of the information you'll see in small capsulations throughout the book. It will help you track what's going on today, and should you have questions later on, help you focus on where those questions might get answers. There's information, obviously, bios about our speakers and presenters, but more importantly, it's there to be used to not only memorialize the day, but to use to guide us through the day. You will see on either one of the screens throughout the day the live recording of today's proceedings through tweets. I have been allowed, I was sharing with Eli, I have all of the social, well, excuse me, that's wrong. I have many of the social applications on my telephone. I am allowed by my children to access Facebook and on account and over time Twitter, but I must be guided through the process in their presence to use Instagram. So I can only tell you that there is an Instagram. I, with Eli's help, was able to follow today at correct Eli, hashtag Move LA Transit. So I encourage you to go on, and if you've got the social media platforms on your phone, to go on and log in, because we want you to shoot to the universe what we're doing today, what you feel about what you've heard and how you think it should be memorialized. We want that to happen in real time. So we're going to continue, and you'll see us walking around with our phones, snapping pictures and adding you into the historical record of what is now our ninth. This is our ninth transportation conference. So give yourselves another round of applause for being part of the ninth. All right, I mentioned our sponsors, and clearly we can't do this without. So to begin, I'd like you to hold your applause until the end so we get through all of this so that you can give us one round roaring recognition. In our diamond lane, California Community Foundation, the Clean Energy Renewables, HDR Incorporated, Resources Legacy Fund, Southern California Gas Company, Sempra Energy, Southern California Partnership for Jobs. Let's give that group a round of applause. Thank you. In our gold lane, Southern California Edison, and give them a round of applause, recognition. And in the silver lane, Glenn Dake, Herzog Lane, and Stephen P. Rados Incorporated, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 11, Iron Workers Impact Fund, and Local 416 and 433, International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 12, that's right, Jacobs, JMB Realty Corporation, Kiewit Infrastructure West. I'll give them a special plug now, then I'll tell you all why later. All right. Lane, International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 12, Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters, Move LA. Well, let's give them all a round of applause before I continue. Move LA is a project of community partners, a nonprofit organization, and despite what many of you may think, and I probably am not speaking to but a few of you in this room, we are very grateful and exist because of your charitable donations to our work on behalf of public transit and transit advocacy here in Los Angeles, and we are thankful. So with that, I'd like to introduce to you, well, actually, no, I'm supposed to say this. If you'd like to continue contributing today, you may do so at the front desk. See Marissa, and she will gladly lead you through that very easy process of continuing to support the work that we do at Move LA. So we'll do that. Now, I'd like to introduce our revolutionary, our champion of instigation and provocation, a man who is recognized and sometimes run from, but most often run up to, the gentleman who leads us in our crusade to create a sustainable, livable, walkable, nurturing community in the public transit space and in the affordable housing space and in the clean air space. None other than my friend, the former mayor of the Republic of Santa Monica, now known to many of you as the city of Santa Monica, Denny Zane. Let's bring Denny Zane. We've got the steps on and ramp on this side, but we hopped up together.
I'm a lefty. I always come up on the left.
That's what we got. You saw where I came up. So Denny is proud to say that fortune favors the bold. There is no other bolder, no one bolder than Denny Zane.
Thank you. Well, I want to take the moment to say thank you to my President Marlene Grossman, who I met right over there by that door 10 years ago when we launched what became Measure R, and to Vice President Danny Tabor, who has been a friend of mine since we both held local elected office back in the 1980s early, and we would rendezvous at various city-related events. So thank you both. I also want to thank Mike Schneider from our executive board. Where are you, Mike? I can't see a hand, the lights are in my eyes, but Mike Schneider and HDR for your participation all along as well. We'll be thanking other people's along. I want to take a moment to just sort of set up the day for you here. Yes, we've had some big victories. How many people remember the night Measure R passed? Oh my God, that was an amazing moment. And then we went from there to J, and J narrowly lost. It got 66.1, and we went from there to M, 71.2%, and the world was saying, you're going to have how many billion dollars over 40 years? $160 billion, 2/3 of which would be invested in our transit system. This is the automobile capital of the known universe. That was an oh my God moment for the world about Los Angeles County. Right after Measure M, we joined up with Supervisor Ridley Thomas for Measure H to help bring an end to homelessness in Los Angeles County. And you know, in that whole period, what we were seeing in LA County, LA City, in the Community College District, and in other local cities in the county, we were seeing an amazing step up by voters. All 5 or 6 measures that were funding measures, bonds or taxes, passed with over 70% of the vote on the same ballot. Unheard of. LA, we like to say LA's got new mojo, and surely it did. We will like to suggest that one of our missions here today then is to think about, in implementation of Measure M, what are some of the things we really need to do to help rebuild the ridership. We think that starts with seniors, disabled persons, students, and innovation. And we're going to hear this morning from people who are working on those issues and bringing innovation to that. We also have to address the housing crisis in Los Angeles County, especially in the vicinity of transit stations. We know that low-income people are a major part of the transit ridership community, and we know that we need to then figure out how to protect them in place near transit stations and how to expand affordable housing into those communities. After lunch, we're going to start talking about something which might seem a little new to you all, because Move LA has worked primarily on transit, but in the Measure M discussion, we were trying to tee up some discussion about goods movement because of the congestion impacts, because of the job creation and the economic impact of that industry. It's one of the most important industries in our community because of the extraordinary opportunities it creates, but also because we need to address its emissions and reduce those emissions to bring better health. It turned out the Air Quality Management Board was passing a new clean air plan just before Measure M, and we took that as a sign that we needed to merge, find a grand bargain, if you will, between those who cared about clean air, those who cared about congestion, and those who cared about the economic significance of our goods movement industry. And then together, a regional system, MetroLink, a transit system of great potential in our region, needs to also be part of our attention. You know, we've thought about whether there's a ballot measure in here somewhere. Actually, I think there is. We hope over the next year or so we'll figure that out, maybe convince you, convince others, that there's a grand bargain measure that can be a regional measure and address all of those issues in one fell swoop, just as we did Measure M. So thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to turn it back to my wonderful President and Vice President, give them an opportunity to introduce to you our guest speakers. Thank you for the honor of being able to participate, as I have, in this extraordinary transformation that's taken place in Los Angeles County. Thanks to you. Thank you.